Tourist from San Diego, and I was in Aspen for 1 week on vacation. So I decided I would come and visit Boulder to see what it was like and what it was all about. And I was having lunch today on, I think it's called Pearl Street. I was having lunch there at the Italian restaurant when all of a sudden I heard a big boom and people yelling and screaming, and I turned around right away and I started recording. Usually I would want to help and run over there and see what's going on, but today it seemed more dangerous, more like there was a lot more craziness happening than the usual little altercation. So I started recording right away, and there was a guy he threw a Molotov cocktail at a group of protesters, and one person caught on fire from head to toe, and they were burning up. Their whole body was burning up, and a few others were also on fire. And then the guy, because I was at the restaurant having food and I had water there, he ran to me and asked me for water. So I gave him 2 bottles of water that I had. In the meantime, the guy is still attacking the terrorist guy, and he goes and he throws another Molotov cocktail, but on the second time that he threw it, he himself caught on fire. And when he caught himself on fire, it looked like he may have had a bulletproof vest or a vest of some sort, and he took off the vest and he took off his shirt, and he was there arguing with some people and fighting, while these other people were still on fire and dying and hurting and in pain, and people were screaming and yelling, and it was just wild. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in person. And then it took a while. It took like maybe 7 to 10 minutes for the first police officer to arrive. We were waiting for the ambulance, for the police. It took them a lot longer than I expected to arrive, especially being in the city center like that.
So going back to that moment, you heard that first scream. Can you describe what it looked like out there when you first saw everything happening in terms of just talking to people? And we obviously know there were multiple people injured. But what was the sentiment?
Yeah, the sentiment was chaos. It was chaos and ruckus. People were yelling and screaming. They were trying to get from one place to the next, but they were tripping over stuff. They were tripping on each other, stumbling around, at the same time yelling and screaming, trying to make a sense of all the chaos that was happening.
And you mentioned trying to help several people. Can you describe more about what you saw, what people were injured from?
Yeah, so some people were laying. The most difficult one to see was the lady laying on the ground who was burning from head to toe, and it looked like she didn't have enough help, and we were just hoping that she would be saved. And then the other people, there were a few others on the grass, and it looked like they were also suffering and in pain from their injuries. And I remember another woman she looked like she was in shock and ready to faint because of what was happening.
What was going through your head? I mean, you're a tourist. This isn't when you got out there.
Well, the biggest thing that was going through my head was, do I run out there and help without knowing how many people are involved in this terrorist attack? The biggest thing was, do people have guns? Do they have machine guns? Are there people on the roof? If I run out there, am I going to get shot? So usually I would run out and help, and then I've done it in other situations.